So let's just take a moment in that easy seat, find our breath, and then we will work our way into child's pose. So whatever feels comfortable for you in this moment, excuse me, put my tea here. Whatever feels comfortable for you in this moment, finding soft shoulders, tall spine, maybe gently resting the hands on the thighs or draping your wrists over your knees with the palms facing down to create a sense of grounding, of cooling, relaxing the muscles of the face, relaxing the jawline, unclenching the teeth. If you have the eyes closed, you might notice that the lids are very softly closed over the eyes, so you're not squeezing the eyes shut. And just letting yourself arrive in the here and now. Just allowing yourself to connect with whatever is happening in your space in the present moment. So maybe you have a fan going and you feel the breeze from the fan. Maybe you're noticing the hum of the air conditioner. Maybe you're noticing the music in the background and you're tuning into that. Or maybe you're noticing your breath, how it feels, how it sounds, where it's coming from. Anchoring your mind to your breath. Noticing your inhales and exhales. And let's together take a nice deep breath in, drawing that breath deep from the belly, bringing it up through the lungs into the chest. And then exhale, exhale, exhale. Chest, lungs, and belly. Let's do that a few more times, breathing in nice and deep, drawing that breath from the belly. And then as you exhale, slowly releasing the air out through the mouth. Although if you want to practice breathing out through your nose, which I offer sometimes in our practice, remember that breathing in through the nose and out through the nose is more of a strengthening breath for the lungs. So if you're just concerned about the air quality and the state of your lungs, you can practice that. I always call that the more yogic style of breathing. When we breathe in through the nose, out through the nose, keeping the lips closed, pushing that air from the back of the throat. But if you feel like you need more of a cleansing breath for this practice or in this moment, then you breathe in through the nose and exhale the air out through the mouth. So whatever feels good for you. Feeling the body soften and release with every exhale. Letting go of anything that doesn't serve you in this moment. So if you're feeling something in your body, tension or tightness, you might gently bring your awareness there. Using your exhale to gently invite that tension to leave the body. Same practice applies with the mind if there's a thought that isn't serving you. Really, again, connecting with the rhythm of the breath, the movement of the breath. Remembering that our breath is our home base, and at any point, if our mind wanders, if we become distracted, we just sort of get away from ourselves in the practice. We come right back to the breath to come back to center. And if there's an intention that you want to set for your practice tonight, I invite you to set that intention now. Maybe speaking your intention out loud or just silently saying it to yourself, sealing it at the heart. Maybe there is a specific intention you want to work with, or maybe you just want to be open to wherever the practice takes you tonight. And as always, honoring yourself for making this time for yourself. Let's take another beautiful deep breath in. Exhale it all out through the mouth. You might begin to gently wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. Maybe gently turn your head from side to side or tilt your head up and down. And then nice and easy, let's work our way into child's pose. We may do a restorative version of child's pose tonight, just depends on timing and other postures I do have planned for us, but we're gonna explore our child's pose now in our more standard version of child's pose. But as always, if you wanna support the head, placing some cushioning under your head, folding up one or both of your arms. Maybe you wanna place some cushioning under the knees, under the bum. Remember to do what works for you. If you have the arms extended forward, reaching through the fingertips, the elbows can lift to get a little bit of a deeper stretch here, or the elbows can relax to make this a little more gentle. Take what you need. You might gently rock the head from side to massage your third eye chakra. So if you're feeling a little blocked in clarity, if you're feeling unclear, if things are feeling a little foggy, sometimes it helps to just bring some awareness to that third eye chakra, represented as the space between the eyes, which is our center for intuition, for seeing. And so if things don't feel clear, sometimes that chakra can be blocked, and it can help to just give it a little massage. Sometimes I like to clear my third eye with Palo Santo. Continue to relax the jawline, find the breath, maybe gently sway the hips from side to side if that feels good. Notice how your belly expands as you breathe in, and how the navel comes back to the spine as you breathe out. Just feeling yourself let everything go. Let's take 3 or 4 more breaths here in this space. Inhale, fill your belly, your lungs, your chest. Exhale, chest, lungs, belly. Good. Just grounding yourself, centering yourself, anchoring yourself. Let's take one more beautiful deep breath in here. Exhale out. And then nice and easy, we're gonna lift up out of, or lift our chest rather, away from the mat, but we're gonna keep our child's pose feet. So what we're gonna do nice and easy is just rock the body using the breath. With the inhale, we're gonna press the heart forward through the arms. You may decide to lift the feet if that feels good. And then as you exhale, press yourself back to your hips. And just let that be a gentle flow for you here. Inhale, pressing the heart forward, maybe lifting the feet, pressing the hips back. Inhale as you come forward, press the heart forward. Think a little bit like your cow breath when we press the heart forward. Press the hips back with the exhale. Good. And just a few more here. Softness in your shoulders. Let's do 2 more. Inhale to come forward. Maybe lift those toes. Exhale to come back. One more time here. Inhale, coming forward. Exhale, pressing it back. Pause here. Take a breath in. And exhale out. Nice and easy. Let's come out of our child's pose. Find our way into a downward facing dog just for a few breaths. We have the wrists in front of the shoulders, not directly lined up with the shoulders. Lift your knees, lift your hips, tucking the toes under. If downward facing dog doesn't feel good for you, you can stay in child's pose. You can come to hands and knees. Good.
Take a deep breath in. With the exhale, press your belly towards your thighs as you lift your hips. Let the head hang, maybe pedal the feet here if that feels good. Stay with your breath, yogis. Pause here, another breath in. Exhale out. And then nice and easy, let's all meet in the knees. And we will take a little cow and cat here now. So now we want to line our shoulders up with the wrists. Maybe have the toes tucked under if that feels good, or have the tops of the feet on the mat, knees about hip width apart. Always remember you can test your hip width apart distance by taking those two fists or your two fists, placing them between the knees, hugging the knees around the fists, and that will help you find that hip width apart distance. Let's actually go a little opposite in our cow and cat tonight. So on the inhale, let's bring the chin to the chest, round the spine. And as you exhale, press the heart forward, come into your cow. Inhale, round the spine, press the mat away. Exhale, into your cow. And let's do this about 10 times. Connecting your breath with the movement. Inhale to round. Exhale to release. And if you end up going in the opposite direction, if you end up doing your traditional cow and cat, totally okay. You know, I love to offer cow and cat in every class, so it might just be second nature to do it, where we inhale with the heart forward and exhale to round the spine. Let's do 5 more here, yogis. Stay with your breath. Good. Really pressing that mat away as you round the spine. 2 more here. Inhale. Exhale to release. Good. Inhale. Exhale to release. Good. Coming back to a neutral spine. Let's play around with our balance a little bit here. It's been a while since we've done some balancing from hands and knees. And then we're actually going to practice gate pose tonight in our practice. So a little bit of work from hands and knees. If your knees need any support, as always, place some cushioning under your knees or double up your mat in the middle. Let's go ahead and start by extending the right leg back. You can start by keeping the toes pressed onto the mat or tucked onto the mat. Inhale, extend that left arm forward as though you're reaching out to shake somebody's hand. You want to press the mat away with your right hand so you're not collapsing all of your weight into that right wrist. And then you can keep those right toes on the mat or lift those right toes, flexing the toes, pressing through the sole of the foot. Concentrate your gaze on a spot that isn't moving. Relax your jawline. Try not to clench your teeth here. Continue pressing the mat away with the right hand. 2 more breaths. Inhale. Exhale. 1 more full deep breath in. Hold for the exhale. And then nice and easy, come on back to hands and knees. Take a breath in and a breath out. Beautiful. Opposite side. Left leg extends back, toes curl under. Right arm extends forward, reaching out to shake somebody's hand. Left toes can stay on the mat or left toes can lift. So remember that spot that we focus on. In yoga, we call it your drishti, D-R-I-S-H-T-I. And that is basically your spot that you focus on to help you concentrate the mind, to help you find steadiness and balancing postures. Pause for 2 more breaths. Inhale. Exhale. 1 more deep breath in. Hold for the exhale. Nice and easy. Let's come back to hands and knees. Coming back into child's pose. Take a moment here to circle around your wrists. Shake out the wrists. That was a lot of work for our wrists there between our cow and cat, our downward dog. So just take what you need here. Good. And take another breath in and exhale out. Beautiful. Good, nice and easy, coming up out of that child's pose. We're gonna turn to face the long side of the mat. Again, coming to the knees. And then let's place hands on the waist to support the knees. Again, if you need some cushioning, you can fold up that outer edge of the mat or place a blanket under the knees. Yoga block might also be handy here, so you can have that block nearby if you need it. On the tall setting, it might work for you in this practice or support you in this practice. So good, we're gonna start with hands on the waist, and then we're gonna extend that right leg out. Now, a couple of options here because everybody's body is different. It might feel a little awkward in this posture to have your right toes facing that short end of the mat. So if you can think of your warrior one foot stance where we have the foot at a 45-degree angle, so you might turn the toes in slightly. That might allow you to plant that foot down a little bit more. But turning the toes directly to face the long side of the mat or the short end of the mat might feel a little awkward on the ankle. So that nice 45-degree angle might work for you. But again, do what feels good. So just move around with the foot placement and find the place that allows you to ground down through that outer right edge of the foot, as well as the inner right edge of the foot. And it doesn't feel like you're tweaking that ankle. Good, continue to have the hands on the waist. We're gonna inhale, reach that left arm up. Take a nice deep breath in. And as you exhale, slide that right hand down the side of the right leg as you reach that left arm over to the right. This is our gate pose. We call this Parigasana, which is our opening. And you can continue to slide that right hand down, or you can take your yoga block somewhere on the inside of the right leg if that feels good, and rest your hand on the block if that just feels better for you. Try not to collapse right ear onto the right shoulder. And again, anchoring down through that outer right edge of the foot. Feel yourself plant your pinky toe down. Take another breath in. Exhale, reach that left arm over to the right. Just feel this beautiful opening. Good. Let's bring that left hand back to the waist, right hand back to the waist. Keep that right leg out. If you're using your block, take your block outside of the left hip. We're just gonna take this in the opposite direction. So now keeping that left hand on the hip, we're gonna reach that right arm up and over. You can keep that left hand on the hip or rest your left hand on the block. And we're just taking this in the opposite direction. Do a little flow with this as well. Pause here, take another breath in, maybe bend that right elbow. Y'all know I love to add that just to get a little bit more juice. And then as you exhale, extend that right arm over. And then let's just play with a little flow here. Inhale, left arm comes up, right hand comes on that right leg. Reach it over. Inhale, right arm comes up, left hand to hip or block. Reach the right hand over to the left. Good. And let's do one more time. Right hand outside of right leg, reach that left arm over, maybe bring the gaze to the fingertips if that feels good. And then take another beautiful breath in. Exhale, reach that right arm over to the left. Keep anchoring down through that right foot. Pause for another breath in. Exhale out. Good, nice and easy. Let's bring hands back to the hips. Bring that right knee in. Move your block over to that right side or just somewhere where you can grab it if you need it for the opposite side. Just scoot myself down on my mat here. And then let's go ahead, extend that left leg out. So again, think 45-degree angle with that foot. If you're wondering what 45 degrees looks like, your big toe is sort of pointing to that top, for me, the top right corner of the mat. But again, just finding a way to place the foot so you're grounding down through that outer left edge of the foot, inner left edge of the foot. Spine nice and tall, shoulders soft. Inhale, reach that right arm up. Left hand comes down the side of the left leg, and then reach that right arm over to the left. Allow yourself to notice what you notice. If you notice a difference on this side, you can always play around with bending the elbow as you inhale. Exhale, reach that elbow over, continue to slide that left hand down the left leg. Again, you can use your block here if that feels good for you. Take another breath in. Exhale out. Let's take this to the opposite side. I'm just going to move my block. You can start by bringing hands to the waist first, or go ahead and move right into it. Reach left arm up and over. Keep right hand on hip or on block. Good. Anchor down through the outer left edge of the foot. Good. And just notice what you notice. Again, take a bend to the elbow if that feels good as you breathe in. Exhale to extend that arm over to the right. Oh, this is good. Take one more breath in. Exhale out. And let's go ahead and do that flow. Inhale, right arm comes up and over, left hand on the outside of the left leg. Reach. Use your breath. Inhale, left arm comes up. Exhale, right hand to hip or block. Good. And just keep going at a nice, easy pace here. Remember, this is gentle. This is restorative. We're taking it easy. We're listening to the body. Very intentional movements here. Good. And then we'll do one more time on each side. So left hand reaching over to the right. And then we'll end it with right arm reaching over to the left. Beautiful, yogis, beautiful. Let's bring those hands back to the hips. Bring that left knee in. You can move your block, place it to the side for now. Let's come on back to hands and knees. We're going to do just a gentle lunge, and then we will work our way onto our back, and just like that, begin to transition into our restorative practice. So let's go ahead. We're going to start by stepping the left foot between the hands. So we're going to take this as a 90-90 lunge, not a full deep low lunge. So in our 90-90, our back hip, our right hip is in line with the right knee. Our left knee is in line with the left ankle. So that's why we call that 90-90. You can frame your foot with the hands if this feels good, pressing the heart forward. You can bring your hands to your waist. You can always use your blocks to support you. And you can stay here with the hands on the waist. You can reach the arms up if that feels good, or take goddess arms or cactus arms. Maybe you want to open up the arms a little bit. Maybe you want to take a shoulder opener. So just do what feels good for you here. Anchor down through the pad of the big left toe. So while this might not feel as deep of a hip stretch as, say, a true deep low lunge, this one supports the balance while also giving a nice gentle opening of the hips. Let's pause for 2 or 3 more breaths. If you're reaching those arms up, shoulders soft, reach up through the fingertips. Maybe turn your pinkies in slightly towards each other. Notice how that just engages the shoulders a little bit more. Notice if your left knee is flying out to that outer left edge, draw that left knee into the midline. Everything nice and controlled. Take one more deep breath in. Exhale out. Wherever you are, let's go ahead, frame that left foot with the hands. Step your left knee back to meet the right. Take a breath in and out. And then step the right foot forward between the hands to explore this on the opposite side. Right knee in line with ankle, left hip in line with left knee. Again, frame foot with the hands, use your blocks, bring hands to the waist, whatever feels good. Anchoring down through the pad now of the big right toe, controlling that right knee, making sure that right knee isn't flying to the outer edge of the right outer edge of the mat. So we're drawing that knee into the midline. And then just take what feels good for you here. Find your drishti, your sweet spot. Concentrate your gaze. 3 more beautiful breaths here, yogis. Inhale. Exhale. Keep controlling that right knee. Good. One more full deep breath in. Hold for the exhale. Good. Let's frame that right foot now with the hands. And I'll tell you what, since we're here, let's sneak in a little pigeon pose. And then from there, we'll come onto our backs. So what we're going to do now is just walk that right foot over to the left edge of the mat. So we're dropping that right knee outside of the right arm, and then tuck your left toes under to pick up your left knee and drag it back. So now we're going to feel a little bit of that stretch that we didn't feel in our 90-90 lunge. And then we just want to make sure we're feeling nice and square in the hips. So if you feel yourself tilted over to the left side, shift your weight a little bit to the right, not so that you're collapsing onto that right side, but so that you feel your weight evenly distributed between the hips. You want to feel the sensation of pulling your left hip forward and your right hip back. It might sound a little bit awkward, but as you feel that in the body, you might notice how that squares off the hips a little bit more. You can stay here with the heart pressing forward in your full, what we call a king version of pigeon, with everything, the chest lifted, or you can come into sleeping pigeon, folding forward over the legs, resting forehead onto the mat, folding up your arms if that feels good. Maybe you want to take prayer hands here. Good, good. Continue to feel yourself. Draw that left hip forward, press your right hip back, anchor down through the left thigh. Relax your jawline. Notice if you're gritting, squinting, fighting. See if you can soften in response to this. Let's pause for 5 more breaths. Pigeon pose is so good to open the inner hips, helps to open the outer hips, so that outer right hip in this case, really good for opening up the sciatic nerve path. So if your sciatic nerve is aggravated or pinched or compressed, this is a really nice way to open that nerve path. Let's take one more full deep breath in and exhale out. If you are folded forward over the leg, you can bring your hands to the mat to gently press yourself back up, coming into that king pigeon. Good. Curl your left toes under, pick up that left knee just so you can slide that right leg back. And then you can come into hands and knees, maybe shake out the legs. Good, if you need that. And then we're going to step that left foot forward between the hands, walk the left foot over to the right edge of the mat. Let that left knee drop outside of the left arm. The alignment cue we're looking for is that the shin, the left shin in this case, is parallel with the top of the mat. But if that shin is not directly parallel, have no worries. Mine is so not directly parallel, but it just gives you an idea of what you want this to look like. Good. Make sure your hips are nice and even. We're not dumping the weight onto either side. So this time we're pulling right hip forward, pulling left hip back, and then you can stay lifted in your pigeon or fold it forward, whatever feels good for you. Breathe and notice. Just allowing yourself to be the witness in your practice. Noticing what resonates, noticing where there's resistance. Noticing what feels tight, noticing where you might store your tension. Just allowing yourself to witness, not to judge, not to change, but to just notice and accept yourself just as you are in this moment. 3 more breaths. Let's take one more full deep breath in. Exhale out. Beautiful. If you're folded forward, gently press yourself up. This time you can curl the right toes under, pick up that right knee, give yourself a little leverage just to drag that left knee back, shake out whatever you need to shake out. If you want to take a down dog here, if we were in an active class, I would suggest we take a plank to stretch everything out. So take what feels good. And then let's find our way onto our back. I'm going to invite you here to grab some cushioning for your head and your neck if that speaks to you. So I have my folded up blanket. If you have a pillow or something you want to use, because what we're going to do is explore one more posture from our back, and then we're going to move into our first restorative posture, which is going to be restorative bridge. So it might feel good to have something supporting the head and the neck there. And then you'll want to have a yoga block if you have that handy, or you can grab a bolster, an extra yoga mat, whatever you're using for your restorative bridge. And if you don't have any props for restorative bridge, no worries. You can come right up into restorative bridge or into regular bridge, hold it for a few breaths, come down, and just kind of play around with bridge very gently as we hold the posture. So first, let's come onto our back. The knees are bent. Go ahead and rest your head and neck on your cushioning. It feels good. Maybe even have it slightly under the shoulders there. And then let's draw the knees into the chest. Take a little happy baby here. So we're drawing the knees into the chest. We're going to bring the arms on the insides of the legs and then grab either the outer edges of the feet if that feels good. You can hold onto your ankles. You can take your peace fingers, your second and third fingers, hook onto your big toes, whatever feels good. If none of that is accessible for you, if that doesn't feel good, you can always hold on to the backs of the thighs. As much as you can, you want to have the soles of the feet pointing towards the ceilings. If you have the arms on the inside of the legs, press the arms against the legs against the arms, create a little resistance there. Knees are outside of the hips. Take a breath in, and with the exhale, press those knees down and towards your armpits. So you're just feeling that nice stretch in the hips, and you might gently rock from side to side if that feels good. Whatever feels good here. Breathing, relaxing the face. Let's take 3 more breaths here. Hips getting a lot of love in our flow part of the practice tonight, and they'll continue to get some love in our restorative practice. Let's take one more full deep breath in. Exhale out. And then nice and easy, let's hug the knees together. Ooh, feels good. Continue to rock from side to side. You can hold on to knees, to shins, to backs of thighs, whatever feels good, giving yourself a little rock from side to side. The other breath in and exhale out. And then we can rest the soles of the feet onto the mat. The knees are bent. Let's just take a breath or two here in this place of constructive rest. The arms resting alongside the body. Just taking a minute to notice how the movement feels in your body. Just notice how you're responding. Take another breath in and exhale out. Good. All right, yogis. So transitioning to our restorative practice. Again, you'll want to have a yoga block. You can have a bolster if you don't have a block. You can have a couple of pillows if you don't have a block. Anything that can tuck nicely under your lower back to keep you lifted in the bridge. And again, if you don't have any props for your bridge pose, for your restorative bridge, you can come up, take bridge for a few breaths, come down, rest for a few breaths, come up. Because we're going to be here for about 5 minutes. So just take your time playing around with bridge. Or again, if you have a pillow, just tuck a pillow under your lower back. That works just fine. So let's position ourselves for our bridge pose. We have the feet about hip width apart. We're gonna walk the heels back towards the bum so you can tickle or graze the heels with the fingertips. And then lifting the hips away from the mat ever so slightly, pressing down through the soles of the feet. You wanna take your block on the lowest setting where it's nice and flat and slide it under the lowest part of your lower back. I always say target the tops of the glute muscles. I find when I target the top of the glute muscles, I kind of land a little more squarely in the lower back. Sometimes when I target the lower back, somehow the top edge of the block can end up like in the middle of the back. So just play around, but you want to find a sweet spot. For me, I always say once you find that spot, it's like, oh yeah, I could be here for the rest of this practice. So you want to make sure you're not digging into the glutes too much with the block. You're not digging into the back too much with the block. If you're sort of feeling the edges of the block, you can drape a blanket, if you have a yoga blanket or something, over the block to take the edges off. But again, that lowest part of the lower back where you can rest nice and easy. Keep the knees hip width apart. Try not to have the knees fly out to the left and to the right. So even though we're resting here and taking it nice and easy in our restorative bridge, we still want to maintain integrity of the posture. So as you relax, just notice that you're not letting everything go. You want to keep the knees controlled as though you're gently squeezing that beach ball that I'm always talking about with bridge pose with your thighs. And again, if you don't have any props, you can take bridge for a few breaths, come down, come back. And then once you have found your sweet spot in your restorative bridge, you might use your eye pillow or your eye covering if that feels good. Take a breath in, and with the exhale, let yourself arrive. Stay anchored to your breath as we rest here. Breathing in nice and deep, filling the belly. Exhale, releasing the air through the nose or through the mouth.
Restorative bridge gently helps to increase the flexibility of the spine, opens the spine, opens the chest, opens the heart chakra, gently strengthens the thighs. Helps to calm the mind. Taking 3 more beautiful deep breaths here. Inhale, filling the belly, the lungs, the chest. Exhale, chest, lungs, belly. Taking one more full deep breath in. And exhaling the air out. Now, just as we got into this, nice and easy, you want to come out of this nice and easy. So with your next inhale, gently lift your hips away from your prop. Keep your hips lifted as you gently place that prop to the side. And then with your next exhale, slowly lower down from the top of the spine to the base of the spine. And once the spine completely reconnects with the mat, just allow yourself to pause here for 3 or 4 breaths. Just give the spine a moment to reset itself. Again, just taking this pause in what we call constructive rest, when we rest here with the knees bent. That is our constructive rest. Take another breath in. Exhale out. Good. And so from here, we're going to move into our bound angle posture. Restorative bound angle can feel really yummy after a restorative bridge. It just helps to create space in that hip area, the pelvis area. And so if you have it nearby, you can grab your yoga bolster, an extra rolled up yoga mat, yoga blocks, pillows, anything like that. And then take your, if you're using a bolster, pillows, or an extra yoga mat, you're going to slide that onto the mat so that it falls under the knees. And then bringing the soles of the feet together, let the knees splay out onto your cushioning, whatever you're using there. Now, if you're using blocks, you can tuck a block just under the left thigh, just under the right thigh. You might slide them under the knees. Some folks like to do it that way, where the block is on that medium setting. So not tall, straight up and down, and not flat, but that medium setting. And you can slide the blocks under the knees there if that feels good, or tilt the blocks at an angle under the thighs and let the thighs rest onto the blocks. As always, if you don't have any props here, that is okay. Use what you have. And if you just want to hold this without the props,
because again, we're going to be here for about 5 minutes. You might take more of a diamond shape with the legs where you push the heels away from the groin, and that will take some intensity out of the hips, but still keep that gentle stretch. So you're getting the work of the posture, but able to hold the posture in such a way that you can be here for 5 minutes. Good. So find your version of your bound angle. You might keep that cushioning under the head and the neck. You can rest the hands on the womb space. If you want to speak healing into your womb space, if you want to connect with your sacral chakra, remember the color for our sacral chakra is orange. So if you want to picture the color orange, you're moving all around your beautiful womb space, speaking life, creativity, joy. When that when that chakra is blocked, we can feel like a block in our creative energy. We can feel a block in our divine feminine energy, that beautiful goddess sexual energy. We might feel a block there. And so we open up the chakra by taking deep hip opening postures, such as the one we're in now. We can eat orange foods. We can wrap an orange scarf around our waist. Again, closing the eyes if that feels good, or using your eye covering. Soften the shoulders. And just allow yourself to breathe into whatever you're feeling here. So when we get into these deep hip opening postures, there can be some resistance at first. And then once we breathe through that resistance, we find this beautiful space where we can just be here. Stay anchored to the breath.
Take 3 more breaths here in this space. Taking 1 more full deep breath in and exhaling out. Good. Now, nice and easy, draw your knees to touch. Take your time. You might have to place your hands under your thighs and gently guide the knees to touch. You can gently pull your props away, move your props away, not too far, maybe just to the side there. And then just take a moment to gently windshield wipe the knees, rocking them from side to side. Our next posture is going to be a gentle twist. And for this, a blanket might feel nice, a folded up blanket, a pillow might be nice. If your bolster is more rectangular like mine is, your bolster can work for that. But really, the folded up blanket, I think, and the pillow might work nicely for our version of the restorative twist. So for our practice tonight, we're going to be doing everything from the back, but in future restorative practices, we'll do other versions of a twist where we're not on our back, we're on our side, and just different ways to access a gentle restorative twist. Let's take another breath in. Exhale out. Good. And then having your blanket or whatever nearby, let's first bring the arms out to the side like a T. You may have to move some of your props around like I do. I have all kinds of stuff by the mat here. You can also take goddess arms if that feels good. You can bring the hands, you can interlace your fingers, behind your head and rest your head in the palm of your hands with the elbows out to the side. So different options for the arms, but I realized before we get our arms into shape, let's actually get the bottom half of the body into shape because we're going to need our arms to put our blanket where we need it to be, but then you'll know where to go with your arms from there. So let's go ahead. We're going to start by gently dropping the knees to the right, and then you can take your folded blanket and simply place it between the legs. So giving a little cushioning between the legs. And that's where a pillow might feel good. If your bolster feels good, you can do that, but a little cushioning there. And then the arms out to the side like a T. You can interlace fingers behind the head, resting the head in the palm of the hands, letting the elbows gently splay out to the side. So whatever you decide, with the knees to the right, I'm going to invite you to gently turn the head to the left. You can use your right hand, if it's available, to gently press down the top thigh. So the left thigh in this case, just to help you get a little deeper into that twist. And we're going to take about 2 minutes on each side here. And then from here, we will prepare for our Shavasana. Stay with your breath. If anything comes up for you emotionally as you're resting here or in any posture tonight, if anything comes up for you physically, just allow yourself to notice what's working its way up and out of the body. Excuse me. Try not to fight, try not to resist. Release with your exhale. Breathe through whatever it is that you're noticing, whatever it is that you're feeling. Anchor yourself into your breath if you need to come back to center.
Taking another deep breath in on this side and exhaling out. And if you are able to keep the prop between your leg, gently bringing the knees up and then dropping them to the opposite side, to the left, you can do that. Or if you need to, just gently remove the prop, get yourself into the opposite side for the twist, and then place that prop between the legs. Keep your shoulders soft, everything nice and soft. And then we'll take another 2 minutes on this side. Taking another deep breath in here on this side. Exhaling out. And can gently release the prop from the legs and then bring the knees up. And if it feels good, you can hug the knees into the chest or simply keep the knees bent with the soles of the feet onto the mat and gently windshield wipe the knees from side to side. Or if you're hugging the knees into the chest, gently rock the knees from side to side. Good. And as you're doing that, for our Shavasana tonight, I'm going to offer our Shavasana as a restorative version of what's called mountain brook pose, but kind of like a modified mountain brook. So mountain brook and restorative is like cushioning under the middle of the back. I think we did this in the last restorative class, where there's a gentle back bend as well as cushioning under the knees. Now you can take the option of placing cushioning under the center of your back if you want that gentle back bend, but I'm going to offer just us focusing on support under the knees. So you can take your bolster under your knees, you can take a couple of pillows, stack them up under your knees, you can take an extra yoga mat and place that under the knees. So once you are done with your windshield wiping or hugging your knees into the chest, take whatever prop that feels good to you, place that under the knees, and then just let the legs rest extended onto the mat with the cushioning under the knees, and then maybe something under your head and your neck. Again, if that feels good. So just take a moment to adjust and readjust until it feels just right. You can again rest the hands on the womb space if that speaks to you. You can rest left hand on heart, right hand on belly. You might just let the arms spread out to the side if that feels good. An eye pillow or covering might feel supportive. So just allow yourself to get situated. And then when you found your sweet spot, take a beautiful deep breath in. And with the exhale, just feel the entire back of the body release into the mat. Feel the spine release, the shoulders, the legs, the arms, the fingers, the toes. Just really allowing yourself to melt into the mat. Relax your jawline, unclench your teeth. Focusing on the movement of the breath, the rhythm of the breath. Giving yourself permission to just be. Giving yourself permission to rest. This practice helps to deeply nurture our body down to the cellular level, because you are signaling to your body that it's okay for everything to turn off, even if it's just for these next few moments. Calming the central nervous system, calming the mind. We were in class together. I'd come around with that lavender patchouli spray I used to love to spray on students while we were in Shavasana. So you can picture that. Beautiful, cooling, grounding spray. And as you rest here, I'll share a passage from Melody Beattie's Journey to the Heart. And this passage is called Cherish Your Connection to the Universe. My relationship with the universe used to be different. I felt separate, apart, disconnected from the rest of the world. My vision of God used to be different too. I used to see God as sitting on a throne, separate and apart from this world. I still see God as the supreme creative force, but the separateness is melting, changing, transforming into something new. Now I see God, the energy of God, and divine love as a part of all that is, the breath of life in every living thing.
I used to see the world as made up of individual and separate components. I used to see people as disconnected and essentially powerless in a world separated from God. Each thing, person, and action a distinctly different operation or event from any other, from the whole. Now I see a planet full of people connected to the divine. Now I see a universe connected by a divine thread that weaves throughout all that is, was, and will be. A living universe that is alive, magical, connected by universal love, connected by divine love. Enter a relationship with the universe, a relationship as alive, as active, as vital as any other relationship. Then know that you are connected to the world and everything in it. Know that universal love, divine love, is real, and you are an important part of it. So as you continue to rest here in Shavasana, this helps to create awareness of your sacral chakra, not your sacral chakra, I'm sorry, your crown chakra. And so even though you're lying down, this rest, this stillness, this place of being at one with yourself helps you to tune into that crown chakra. So just as gently rocking the head from side to side in child's pose can clear the third eye, just as taking hip opening postures can open the sacral chakra, resting here and feeling the sense of connection can connect you with that crown chakra. So as the passage talks about, if you're feeling that sense of being disconnected from the world, from others, from this sense of oneness, postures such as Shavasana can help you to tune back into that chakra and help you feel that sense of connection with whatever it is that speaks to you, God, spirit, universe, nature, Mother Earth. Coming back into the body, back into a sense of full presence. Taking a deep breath in, gently releasing the air out through the mouth. You might gently wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, circle around your ankles and your wrists. Hugging the knees into the chest if that feels good for you, or simply bending the knees, keeping the soles of the feet onto the mat. And either way, gently rocking from side to side, maybe turning the head from side to side, or tilting the head up and down. Gently rocking all the way to your right side, resting in a fetal position with the head supported by the hands. Just allowing yourself to pause here. Breathing in and out. And then using the hand that is closest to the earth, very gently press yourself back up into a comfortable seated posture. Coming back to where we were at the beginning of our time together. Completing the beautiful full circle of this practice. You might rest hands on thighs, belly, heart, bring prayer hands together at the heart. Just taking a moment to reflect on this practice. Honoring yourself for making this time for yourself. And again, remembering that anytime you're experiencing a sense of disconnection from the world, from yourself, if everything's feel just a little too heavy, a little too challenging, come to your mat. And it doesn't have to be some super hot vinyasa flow. It can be taking a few moments in child's pose. It can be taking a few moments in shavasana. But as I shared in a newsletter that I sent out on Tuesday, it's the practice of coming out of your mind and dropping into the heart and into the body. Our practice really speaks a unity between mind, body, and spirit. And so sometimes in this world, we're all in our heads. What are we doing? What are we thinking? What are we planning? What are we fixing? What are we controlling? What are we trying not to deal with? Constantly in our heads, disconnected from the heart, disconnected from what we're feeling, disconnected from our bodies. And when we move our bodies, whether gently or in a more active way, that helps to move the energy that can get stuck in our body. So come to your mat. Your mat is always here for you to come back home to yourself. Remembering that you have everything you need inside of you for your own personal journey. So saying to yourself silently or out loud, thank you. I love you. I trust you. I forgive you. Taking one more beautiful deep breath in here. Releasing the air out through the mouth. May we all be happy. May we all be free. May we all be peaceful, easeful, useful, and joyful. The light in me honors the light in each and every one of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for joining. And namaste.